So today we have with us Lyn Allure from Canada. Welcome, Lyn. It's lovely to have you.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, Lyn has an interesting strapline. Good girls gone boss. So she's a boss. She's an entrepreneur. She used to be in corporate life. She left to do more exciting things on the internet, and she's going to tell us all about that. So Lyn, let's go right back. Tell us about your childhood, your teenage life, your education, and your early aspirations. When you were young growing up, what were you actually planning to do when you became an adult? Tell us about your early life.
All right. So I grew up to parents. Both my parents immigrated from Ghana when they were in their early 20s. And it's an amazing story. My dad, I always ask him to tell it, but he basically came to Canada without getting on a plane. So it took him a while to get to Canada. When he did, he brought my mom. And then after some years, due to some immigration stuff, my dad got stuck in Ghana. He went back to Ghana, got stuck there for some time. So I was raised under just my mom. Although they were married, she was operating as a single mother for, quite frankly, all of my childhood. And growing up, growing up, I thought that I wanted to be a nurse because that's just what all the aunties and the uncles would kind of instill in me. They would tell me, go to school, do science and become a nurse. So that's what I thought I wanted to be. And I thought that the only way to financial stability was through going to school, getting good grades, going to the best university out there, and getting an amazing 9-to-5 with 2 weeks vacation and benefits. And, that's the dream that I thought, that's essentially what I thought was the dream. I went through my first year post-secondary as a nurse, or towards the nursing program, and I absolutely hated it. I was like, I really love helping people, but I don't really love touching strangers. And my program head looked at me like, do you know what program you're in? Like, what are you talking about? You don't like touching strangers. So needless to say, I was in the wrong field. I made a pivot then because I've always loved math. And so I thought, okay, accounting perhaps, because there's numbers there. So I went towards the accounting route. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in finance, my bachelor's degree in business administration with an area of emphasis in finance. I also got my advanced diploma in accounting. So I worked the 9-to-5 route, and I worked in accounting and finance for all of my corporate life. I actually got my first corporate job at 19. And so I learned so much about growing a business or being a part of a business because I had worked for Fortune 500 companies. I'd also worked for startups, and I got to wear many hats in that role. And I just learned so much about the business infrastructure, but I knew that there was so much more for me. And so it was then that I realized I could start doing things on the side that actually take off. And while I was growing up to my mom, who we lived in a neighborhood that really wasn't safe at all. Looking back at it now as an adult, I go back and it makes me emotional. I'm overwhelmed with emotion because I was like, this felt so normal. There was always gunshots in the windows.
Oh.
Yes, rodents in the apartments, always pee in the elevator. But it seemed normal. But she always had a job. She always had a side hustle. She always was working multiple jobs to provide for herself and her entire family. And so when we were 11, she bought a home in the suburbs and we moved out of there. And I saw a different quality of life. I saw what it was to live in a safe environment. And I watched her, and I knew that that's the route I wanted to go to as well, where I had multiple things going on for myself. So while I was working corporate, I kind of always had things on the side. But when they started to make money is when I realized I could be my own boss full time. I don't need to have all of these different jobs. I could have one brand and one business that creates multiple streams of income within that brand, within that business, and kind of diversify my portfolio. So I really do think that like my financial literacy started in my home, but as an adult and with the technology that we have today, I was able to look at it a different way, as opposed to, I now look at money and streams of income as working smart, as opposed to what I watched with my mom, who was always working very, very hard. So yeah, long-winded answer to say, I grew up in a not so safe neighborhood. I was able to see a different type of living. And when I got older, I was able to use those skills that I learned younger, hone in on them, use the information that I learned through technology and social media and self-learning to bring me to where I am today.
Okay, great. Amazing. Yeah, it's not easy being a nurse, is it? There's so many aspects of it. People think, oh, because I wanted to be a nurse as well when I was a child, but I think
Did you really?
Yes, yeah, but I think I changed my mind when I was about 7 and realized I didn't really like the sight of blood or people suffering. So nursing wasn't for me. So I totally understand. So you went into accounting in the end. That's interesting. So you were working in corporate life for a while. How long for?
I worked there from 19 to 26. Okay. So 7 years in corporate.
Okay. And then you took the jump.
And then I took the leap of faith, and I haven't looked back since.
Okay.
It's an incredible experience, and I really do feel anyone who wants to do it can absolutely do the same thing, 100%.
So you said you started your first business with less than $100. Tell us about that.
Yes, so that actually wasn't my very first business. The first thing I started doing for myself, I was 18 at the time, and a lot of people were always commenting on like, I love your makeup, or like my friends and family, when they were going to a special event or something, they would ask me, hey, can you help me with my makeup and things like that. Some of my aunts, they lived like a 40-minute drive from me, and they would drive to my house to have me do their makeup so they can go to their parties and whatnot. And so that's when I started picking up on, okay, I think I have a skill here. I could monetize that. So 18 was when I started my first business as an adult, as a freelance makeup artist. But my first online business was a hair extension company that I started with $100. At the time, I had started doing my YouTube videos, and I was getting a lot of brand sponsorships from hair companies. And I noticed that my audience really loved the hair companies, but I started to feel a little conflicted sending my audience or promoting a company to my audience, knowing that it's possible that these hair companies are sending me one grade of hair that is amazing quality, and then sending my viewers another quality of hair, or selling another quality of hair than what they were sending their influencers to promote. Wow. So I decided, if I own the company, then I'll have better control over the hair extensions that I'm promoting and that I'm selling. So when I first started it, I didn't know how much it's going to cost me to do this, or how much I would need to scale it or whatnot. And I wanted to invest a limited amount of money, because if it failed, at least I could say, you know what, I'm not completely broke and bankrupt and all my savings are blown. And so I did a lot of DIYs. I used a drop shipping model initially, and I created graphics on my own. The packaging, I was able to kind of DIY using Canva and PicMonkey to create labels and things like that. I bought things wholesale. The domain was only 99 cents to buy. And I started promoting it without anyone even knowing that I owned the brand, really, just behind the scenes, to see if I could start up a hair extension business on my own. And I was able to do that, and it went great. And I created a video on YouTube just letting people know you don't need a whole lot of money to start a business and be profitable and bring in an extra stream of revenue for yourself. You can do it with under $100, which I did. And so I was just sharing things that I learned. I'm not the ultimate expert on everything business related, but if I've learned something that's worked for me, I feel like it's my duty to pay it forward and teach people what I've learned, because it could be impactful and helpful for at least one person.
Well, that's good, because sometimes people want guidance in terms of what to do in business. And if you can share what works and what does not work, it definitely helps other people. I'm sure you've had some pleasant messages about it. One of the videos that I looked at that you created said, lose belly fat in 10 days without exercise. I would imagine that, 50% of an adult population would be very much interested in that. Of course, I had a look. And then I had a look at the comments. And I'm going to say, comments are really funny. Some of those comments just had me cracking up. I was like, wow, this is what they got from the video. And then some of them were handing out their own tips. I was like, goodness. So tell me about that video. Tell me about losing belly fat.
It's actually really interesting that you mentioned the comments. I can't even watch that video, to be honest, because it was so long ago, in my opinion. It was about maybe 4 years ago. I was still in college. I feel I had a different presence, or just the way I was even articulating myself is so different, I feel now. But at the time I was going on a vacation, I was gonna be in these little, bikinis, and I wanted to put together a video on some things that helped me that maybe might help somebody else. But that video is one of my most viewed videos. And so I'm quite conflicted on whether or not I want to private that video or keep it public. So I don't even know what the current top comments are saying, because I even have a hard time watching that video. It's like so different from, I feel, who I am today, but apparently it's still helping people. So that's great. And that's the whole purpose of creating these videos, that I basically talked about like cutting sugars and cutting unnecessary white processed foods from your diet and things like that. I'm no dietitian, I'm no nutritionist, but that's just what worked for me. And I think now, with 4 years more of wisdom, I think I would just make those disclaimers at the beginning. Like, guys, I'm not a professional. These are just things that worked for me. And hopefully it's helpful to you. Because that's really what my purpose is with any video that I create and I put out there. It's ultimately to help people. And so that was my intent behind making that video. It's just the delivery that I have such a hard time watching. I have such a hard time watching that video.
Well, I think that is the case for quite a number of YouTube professionals, so to speak, because when you start off doing YouTube, you do it in your own way, from home in a relaxed environment. And then as you grow into this, maybe a few months or a few years later, you would do the same video differently. And it's actually interesting for people to watch your journey. So maybe you should just do an update to that one, which is just as useful, but maybe, showing a different side. But I think the video is fine.
Oh, well, thank you so much. But that's a great idea. Maybe I might just do an update version in the tone that I would do it today. But that's something I do have to remind myself, because I tend to give other people that same advice, like, just create the video. A lot of people they want to start YouTube channels, but they are fearful of starting a YouTube channel. And I just tell them, just do it. Worst case scenario, you don't like the video, you just private it. And so I have to remember to give myself that same grace, that like, worst case scenario, I'll private the video, but it hasn't gotten to worst. What's up?
Okay, great. Now, you also said that you managed to get 100K subscribers over 3 months, which is amazing.
Yes.
Tell me, how did you do that?
So my YouTube channel in 2020, or from the end of 2019 to like mid 2020, kind of just blew up. And what happened was, because I was always in school and working corporate simultaneously, my YouTube channel was always just a creative outlet for me. I didn't really have any intention for it. It was just fun for me to create videos and meet kindred spirits, like-minded people, or people who found interest in the same thing as I did. So it wasn't until brands started reaching out that I was like, oh, okay. So this went from a hobby to kind of a side hustle, because now I'm getting paid for these videos that I'm creating. But the priority was always university and my 9-to-5 job. That was always the priority. It wasn't until I graduated university that I had now all this newfound freedom on my hands, that I was like, well, I can learn a new language, I can travel more, I can create more videos. And so when I started investing more time into my YouTube videos, and I just met myself where I was currently, I didn't feel a pressure to create the content that I think people want to watch or I think people are expecting of me. I just created videos on what I was interested in at the time, which was financial literacy, side hustles, creating generational wealth. That's what interested me at the time, and it still does to this day. So once I started creating videos like that, my channel just really started taking off. And I just shared all the tips that I gained at that during that time that helped me to stay consistent and to create relevant content that resonated with people and would be helpful to people. And so the channel grew crazy. At the end of 2019, I was at, or November 2019, I was at about 80,000. And so in a year and a half, I'm now at 400,000. So that's now 310,000 in a year.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well done.
Thank you so much.
And I can see why, because you give good information and you look great on camera. So I can see why.
Thanks
So
so much.
what does your mom think about your newfound fame, so to speak?
Oh my goodness. My mom is so proud of me, and I just love her so much because she's supportive regardless of what I want to do. She wanted me to be a nurse, and when I did the first year and I was like, I can't do this nursing thing, she was apprehensive, and you know, that mother's love and protection. She was like, why are you going to leave it? It's a stable career field. But she was still supportive, even though she was nervous about it. And when I said I was leaving my corporate job to do this, she was also nervous about it, but she supported me regardless. And when I bought my first home, this was while I was still working corporate, that's when I think it really resonated with her that, oh, okay, financially, my daughter's good. She's going to be okay regardless, because in Toronto, at least, I can't speak for everywhere in the world, but I know in Toronto, to own a home is so difficult, especially for young people. To be approved for a mortgage, to save that down payment. The homes are always appreciating in value, so the prices are always going up. And so when I was able to do that at 25, I think that's when it resonated to her, like, oh, okay, financially she's doing good. So now that I'm doing this full time, she's very, very proud of me, and she knows that I'm doing well. I'm doing like big campaigns with financial companies out here in Canada. Her friends are sending her like little ads and commercials with me in them. Yeah. So she's really proud of me, and she knows that I'm good. And that's really all that she wants as a mom, for me to be safe and secure and good. So she's happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a little bit worried about your dad earlier on when you first mentioned him. So is he back in Canada?
He's back in Canada now, yes. He came back when I was a child at the time, but he is back in Canada now. He's also very supportive of this also. He's more entrepreneurial and business minded, so he's always been supportive of this. My mom is very safe, and she doesn't do risk too much. So for her growing up, it was just education. You get your education, you get a good prestigious job. So that's why my mom had the most hesitation, and she was most nervous. Like, you don't want to be an accountant? You don't want to be a nurse, not a doctor, not a lawyer? What are you talking about? You want to be a creative? So she was a little antsy about it. My dad, though, he's more of a risk taker. So he's always been on board with that.
Okay. So in terms of getting clients, new clients, do you find that you're more proactive in going after those clients, or are they finding you?
So do you mean for the brands or for the members in the Good Girls Gone Boss Society?
For the brands who are advertising with you.
I would say initially, when I was a smaller channel, I would maybe soft pitch to companies and just say, hey, this is what my channel is about. I would love to explore if there is any working relationship that we can build. But these definitely get pitched to more, and I get emails daily for like different brands who are interested in working together. I would say maybe 20 a day.
Wow.
50 a day. Yes. But
That's brilliant.
yeah, it's awesome. And it's definitely a blessing. I just don't take on every single opportunity that's pitched to me just because I want to stay authentic to my audience and I don't want to just promote anything. So if it's a company that I believe in their ethos and, you know, their mission, then I definitely would like if our values aligned and I believe in their product and I've tried it out, I would work with them, but I don't work with every company, especially if it doesn't align with what my brand is even about. So
yes, of course, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
well, that sounds good. That's
awesome.
excellent. Now, tell me about Good Girls Gone Boss.
Yes. So Good Girls Gone Boss is a community of like-minded, ambitious women who are interested in designing, planning, and executing their dream life through financial literacy and entrepreneurship. So in that society, we talk all about actionable, tangible steps you can take towards getting better with your finances and also using Wi-Fi, using the internet to create multiple streams of income for yourself. Because this is something that I did. So when it comes down to things that I can teach what I have done. So in there, I get really transparent with the girls, extremely candid. We talk behind the scenes of brand deals. I show them emails. I show them how I'm pitching. I show them how to grow their own brands and how to just authentically show up as themselves because a lot of people have hesitation or fear behind that. So we just basically talk about how to level up financially using the internet essentially. And it's not just myself, but I also invite other guest experts into the society so that they can share their knowledge and their expertise on different things. Like we had Facebook ads experts who come in and had shared how to get started with your Facebook ads, first steps to take. This Saturday coming up, we have a business consultant coming in to teach women how to pitch their business to venture capitalists to secure funding for their business so that they're able to, I think a lot of women believe they're not able to secure funding. They have to bootstrap their business or that they have to be a Fortune 500 company in order to secure investors for their business. And that's just simply not the case. So she's coming in there to teach us all about pitching your business. We've also had financial advisors to come in and teach like the basics on saving and planning for retirement, things like that. There's also a stock market course in there that teaches you how to get into the stock market as a beginner if it's absolutely new to you and it seems daunting. There's close to 50 videos that will walk you through step by step what every stage of the stock market is and what it means and how to get started into it. And so, yeah, it's just an amazing community of ambitious women and financial elevation, mentorship, community support. It's like sisters in there. Those are my girls in there. So yeah, it's a membership community just for financial elevation.
So how does one become a member?
On the website, enrollment's actually open at the moment. We have different periods throughout the year that enrollment is open just so that everyone's joining at the same time and you don't feel like an outcast or a little apprehensive to just jump in and get into the group discussions. So we have enrollment periods and enrollment is open currently. It's going to be closing at the end of July. And it's just on the website, goodgirlsgoneboss.com/society.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So how much time would you say you spend working on a daily basis?
That's a very good question because no day is the same. It's wild. Some days I have 14-hour days and some days I don't work at all. Like I could have a day that maybe I worked for an hour and then I spent time with my family and my friends. I might go on vacation and then I'll have a day where I wake up, computer, laptop, until I'm like completely depleted and I've got to get to bed. So it varies really. And that's the beautiful thing about entrepreneurship, especially online entrepreneurship, is that it's life by design. So if I don't want to work, I won't. And I can set up processes and systems to where things are automated. I can set up funnels to where my business is always selling, and I'm getting paid every single day. And it's up to me to decide if I want to go extra hard or if I want to take a step back. So from May to the end of June, or sorry, was it May? No, it was April, end of April to the end of May. I was on a 6-week vacation. I just like tapped out. I was like, I'm burnt out. I was working really hard in 2020. I'm just taking a vacation. And I did it. And I was unapologetically on break. I was maybe answering emails for about an hour a day for the whole week. Like that's what I was doing. And it felt great. It felt great because I wouldn't be able to do that when I was working corporate and still have an income coming in. And so I think most people just do what they've always been told because they haven't seen anything different. And so that's why it's so important for me to share the things that I do. It's not because, oh, I'm obsessed with money and I think money is the most important thing. Absolutely not. But we can't negate the fact that money is important. And so is our freedom and our time to explore life and do things that really matter to us, do more of what we love with more of who we love. And so that's why I share what I do, to let people know it's possible, the representation, right? Because when I was growing up in the neighborhood that I was born in, I didn't see women just living their best life. Women were working very hard and stressed out. And just in the rat race of working to pay bills, living paycheck to paycheck. And it's so crazy that here I am making almost 9 times, more than 9 times, I've never actually done the math here, closer to like 12 times what I used to make corporate. Meanwhile, I'm working less hours, or I'm working the hours that I choose for myself. And so that's why I think it's so important to let people know you don't have to. You have children, okay, do this, set yourself up like this so that you can spend the time you want doing more meaningful things with people that you love. If you want to do more philanthropy or volunteering work, or move to somewhere in Africa or South America and help children and things like that, you can do that and still make money at the same time. You don't have to compromise your livelihood to help other people. As a matter of fact, if you can help yourself, then you can help other people even more. So yeah, I get so passionate talking about all this stuff, but it's so important that people know that there's more to life than just working 8 hours a day at a job that you kind of like, kind of don't, it's okay. And then going to sleep and doing it all over again.
Yeah,
so.
I hear you. Okay, morning routine and nighttime routine. Tell me, what's your morning routine?
So my morning routine consists of the first 2 hours of my day, just me time, just pouring into myself. I'm very selfish with the first 2 hours of my day because it helps me to have like a dynamic, productive day. So first thing in the morning, there's a few things that I like to incorporate. I always do my 5-minute journaling and my morning affirmations. So I will just write 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things that'll make today great. And then I just write a few affirmations. It takes about 5 minutes in the morning, doesn't take a lot of time. And it just helps me to gain like mental clarity and just great. It's a great way to start the day. I feel great after that. I also will try to get some physical movements in. Toronto's been on lockdown for the last year and a half. So the gyms have been closed here. But the great thing is that I have like a huge balcony. So I'll do some yoga on the balcony. My neighbors are probably sick of seeing me out there. Or I'll walk by the lake over here. So I'll get some morning exercise in, not too much, not breaking too much of a sweat, like just getting some sort of physical activity in while I maybe listen to a podcast. And then I also try to eat something clean. Try to, because some mornings I'm just not hungry and I just won't. But if I do eat, I'll eat something clean. But that's mainly what my morning routine consists of. I have to make sure that I'm pouring back into myself and I'm getting my mind prepared for the day upcoming. And I'm just setting myself up for a dynamic, productive day. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. What about your nighttime routine?
Nighttime. It's all about winding down in the nighttime for me. just kind of resetting, getting myself prepared for the next day. So I do little things in the night. Some people might find it a little strange, a little obsessive compulsive. I don't know, but I'm a Virgo. I've heard that this is a Virgo thing. I'm not sure, but I will, if I need to, put aside different outfits. If I have like an important day the next day, I'll put aside the outfits. I just like kind of clean my home. I'll kind of connect with like loved ones or people that I haven't really connected with throughout the week or throughout the day. And yeah, I just kind of reset and prepare myself for the next day again. So just kind of get organized and wind down, and put away yesterday's stresses and yesterday's worries, or the day's stresses and the day's worries.
Okay, interesting. Now, in terms of books, do you spend much time reading?
I love reading. I'm obsessed with self-improvement books. I love productivity books, anything that'll help me to become a better version of myself. I love self-improvement generally. So I read a lot of finance and self-improvement books.
Okay. Tell me about your 3 best books that you would recommend to others.
So first one I would say is 4-Hour Workweek. That is like the quintessential book for the 9-to-5er who is transitioning from this corporate world to being their own boss and trying to be effective and productive. Another really great one, I think, is Atomic Habits. It helps you to, that book is about building habits that will help you to become a better version of yourself, but in small increments, right? Because I think when people think about productivity, they think it's a huge transformation to become more productive, but it's actually small little steps. So Atomic Habits is a great one. 4-Hour Workweek, and let's see, which book are we going to say? There's 2 I would put here. You know what? No, I'll say,
give me 2.
Okay. I would say that one, I believe it's Dale Carnegie. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People. The title seems a little bit manipulative, but I promise you it's not. When I read that title, I thought, oh my goodness, what a book. How do you win friends? Who wins friends? That sounds terrible. But it's really just about understanding people and how to make meaningful connections, whether you're an introvert or extrovert or somewhere in between. I think that's a great book that people should read about making connections with other people, making meaningful connections, which is what I think all of us crave in life. Everyone wants to make meaningful, valuable connections in the world as humans. And the last one I'll say as a bonus is Quiet. The book is called Quiet, and it's really about understanding the world from the lens of an introvert. And I do think it's important to read that book, whether or not you are an introvert. It's another one about human connections and interactions with the outside world and how other people perceive you and how you're able to make great connections with people, even when they're quiet. Essentially, you're learning how to listen more and pick up social cues a lot better. So, yep, those are the 4.
All right. You talk a lot about side hustles. Mention a few side hustles that you would suggest that people investigate to see if that's the right one for them.
That's a very good question, but I think that to find the perfect side hustle for you, you'd have to first assess who you are and what you enjoy, because I don't truly believe in working just because you need to. Sometimes that is a circumstance that you are put in, and you've got to do what you've got to do. But if you're making an active choice to create something, why create something solely because you are going to get paid from it? I think it's best to follow what it is you're interested in, and to also follow what you're naturally good at, and combine the two. And revenue tends to follow that when you are being authentic to yourself. So I could tell you right now, freelance makeup artistry, that is a great side hustle. I was making like $1,000 in a weekend as a college student. Do that. But if you are not interested in makeup, or you're just simply not good at it, why do that to yourself? You know, you might be amazing at sports, and perhaps a side hustle for you is coaching soccer. Or maybe you're amazing at languages and maybe you can become a tutor for languages. So a side hustle that might work for me wouldn't necessarily work for you, regardless of how much money it makes. So I would encourage people to assess, be honest with themselves, because no one else matters here. Personal finances is a very personal decision, and you have to look within, be very honest with yourself about what interests you and what you're good at, and combine the two. And if you aren't good at something, then pick up a skill, but pick up something that you are interested in. Pick up a skill within something you're interested in. Because if you're just going to follow where the money is on those days that it gets really difficult and you're not motivated to get up and get your work done, you're going to need something to motivate you. And the money is just not going to be enough. I don't care what anyone says. Money is not enough of a motivator to do a lot of things. So,
yeah, I hear you. Okay. What kind of hobbies do you have? Things that you do outside of work, which have nothing to do with work, but you just use it to relax or wind down?
Ooh, I love traveling.
Oh.
So yes, I know we've been limited due to the C word, which we will not mention here, but I've still been able to get a few trips in during this time, like safely, of course, but I love traveling. I also really just like spending time with my friends and my family. So winding down with them. My sister and her husband have 7 kids, so spending time with them.
Goodness.
Yes, spending time with them is always amazing and it's awesome. So I love doing that. Spending time with my friends, my family, traveling. Sometimes I'll indulge in a little guilty pleasure of reality TV, you know, just do nothing. It's my guilty pleasure. I can't help it. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Well, that's normal. That's normal. Sometimes people just want to watch something and forget about what's going on and forget about work and stress and just disappear into a different world. So,
right.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. So what countries have you been to? What countries have you traveled to?
Africa. Well, oh my God, I was going to use Africa as like the category starter, right?
That's fine. That's fine.
I was not calling Africa a country. Please, nobody come for me. Ghana, Nigeria. I definitely want to go to more African countries because I've only been to West Africa. I want to go to South Africa. Perhaps I have some South African friends, so I definitely want to go to some East African countries as well. But in Africa, I've been to Ghana and Nigeria. I've been to Jamaica, the Bahamas, St. Lucia, Mexico, the Dominican Republic. I've been to a lot of states in America. Where else am I forgetting?
Have you been to Europe?
Oh yes, Europe. I lived in the UK for a few months actually. So London, the Netherlands, Spain, and France.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's everywhere, I think. Yeah, so far that's it.
What part of the UK did you live in?
I lived in London. I lived Oxford Circus, actually.
Oxford Circus?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yes.
That's right in the heart of the shopping district.
Yes, it was a lot for me.
This is like the busiest part of London ever.
Yeah, it was a lot for me.
Okay, it sounds like it was a bit of a shock for you. Was it?
I wouldn't say a shock. I'm just not much of a city girl, and I knew that prior to going there, right? So I knew this already, and I'm also very used to driving my car. I have my car everywhere. Even here, I live in the city, and I still have a car. So when I was out there and I was riding the tube, I was like, my mental well-being is depleting here because
wow, really?
Yes, because it was tube everywhere. It was tube to get but honestly, I loved London. The people, Oh my gosh, I felt so at home just because of how welcoming and warm everyone was. Oh my God, I loved London so much and I can't wait to go back. My friend's there right now. So even just this morning, we were speaking about maybe making something happen to visit soon. Because yeah, I still have friends there and everything. It was great.
Okay, well, when you come back, you must give us a call. You must let
Yeah.
us know you're coming and we can meet up.
Oh my God, that would be lovely.
So when you first came, did you come to meet people here that you knew, or did you just come, hoping to make friends once you got here?
I didn't know anyone. I had family there.
Okay.
I had family that lived in, I forgot that it was like a suburb outside of London, like the core of London. And then I made friends while I was there. But no, I came for work. There was like a program that was available through work. And so that's why I came, but I knew nobody at the time. And when I left, I had so many new UK friends. And I'm like,
Oh, great.
yeah, one of my best friends, actually, I met there. And then we've since traveled together. We talk all the time. And she's literally one of my best friends and one of the best people in the world. So yeah, I love London. I'm getting all the feels thinking about it. I want to go back.
What month did you come?
This was years ago. So I think at the time, let me do some quick math. I want to say 2017, perhaps.
Was it summer or winter?
Oh, it was through the fall to winter. So I came around beginning of September and came back home in like around Christmas time.
Okay, all right. Oh, so you had about 3 months. Wow.
Yeah, I think it was about 3, 4, or maybe I came around August actually, because I was there for about 4 months.
Okay. Did you return to Canada with a British accent by any chance?
No, not at all. But I came back looking a little bit more fit. I think it's having to walk in the tube so much.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Because everyone was like, oh my God, you look like you've been working out so much.
Yeah.
Transportation. That's really what it was.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm grateful for that, honestly. That was like the positive about using the tube.
Mm. Well, it's good that you had that experience, and it's also nice that you were able to travel quite a bit now, and post this P word, and I'm sure you'll be traveling a lot more. That's what's good about what you do. You have that freedom to be able to be in different places and still continue working.
Right. Yeah.
As well as have weeks off if you feel like it, Sounds like the ideal life, but not everybody will be able to do that. And let's face it, the majority of people will be working or stuck at work, whether they want to or not. So how would you suggest that people manage their finances, whatever it is that they're doing, however they're getting money in? How should they manage their finances?
So that's a great question. I think that you bring up a valid point that not everyone would be able to do that because not everyone has an interest to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. And I think it's so important. Especially in this generation, everyone is pushing, become a boss, be an entrepreneur. It's not for everybody. Yeah. Entrepreneurship isn't for everyone, but ownership is. Ownership is for everyone. And that's how the true generational wealth is built. So when we talk about finances, I think it's important to have those multiple streams of income, whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not. So if you're going to gain a stream of revenue through maybe learning the stock market and trading in the stock market, or maybe finding a way to own some real estate that you can turn into a cash flow property, putting some tenants in there, or you can buy and sell. So these are just options of like ownership that isn't necessarily entrepreneurship. And a lot of people feel it's not attainable for them. But what you can do is co-own, if that's an option for you. Go into buying a property with your sister or your brother or your mom or dad or someone that you really trust. That's one way of owning property that you can now put a tenant in, make some money off of that. There's things like Turo, where you're able to rent out your car and make some side, a little bit of extra money there, on a car that you already own, turn some of your liabilities into assets that way. And that isn't necessarily entrepreneurship. It's just, making money on the side as well. It's not building a whole brand and a whole business, but it's definitely a way to, make some extra money. So the way that I look at finances is you are a table, and every stream of income is a leg. And so if you only have one leg under that table, if that collapses, God forbid, you collapse as well. So what you need to do is find ways to build other streams of income for yourself. So if one leg collapses, you're still balancing, you're still good. Even if you only have two legs, if one of those legs collapse, you still have one that you're balancing on until you get another one to, keep afloat. So that's what I try to preach to people. You don't have to create a stream of revenue for yourself by being an entrepreneur. And you definitely don't have to go out and find yourself 5 or 6 different jobs, because we only have 24 hours in a day, and that will create burnout essentially. So find ways to work smarter and not harder. Find ways to create that passive income for yourself. And that's what investing is essentially. You put money somewhere, and as you're living your life, as you're working your job, as you're building your business, as you're doing whatever you do to make money, that money is also working. That money is also growing. And so that's how you're able to create passive income and create multiple streams of income without burning yourself, having that money work for you while you're also working for yourself.
Okay. Tell me about burnout.
Ooh, burnout is real. That burnout is so real when you have 24 hours in a day and you're working for a majority of them. First of all, you need 8 of those hours to sleep. I always get my full 8 hours all the time. And so sometimes what that does is throughout the other 16, throughout the other 16 hours, I'm like, I'm trying to get everything done. But I tend to like pack my days as well sometimes when I have like a really important launch coming up or there's high demand. So something I myself have had to learn as a newly full-time entrepreneurship. I'm not new to entrepreneurship, but I'm new to full-time entrepreneurship, not having a 9 to 5 to kind of pace my days. I've had to learn to create boundaries for myself, to respect myself and my time by creating those boundaries of, okay, it's work time and it's time to turn off and do nothing and not be answering emails and not tending to clients and responding to work related things past a certain time or past a certain day. Like if it's Saturday and it's not work time, like I'm not answering to emails and going crazy like that. So creating boundaries is so important. Sometimes burnout can feel like different things for different people. It can feel like depression. It can feel like anxiety. It can feel like confusion, turmoil. And it can just feel like a never ending hamster wheel for some people as well. But ultimately it's you not performing your best quality of work. That's when you are burnt out most likely, and it means you got to take a break. I've experienced this myself, and that's why I went on the 6-week vacation, because in 2020 I was moving like a mad woman. I was working 7 days a week, no boundaries, no set schedules, and just when the work came, I had to do it. It showed up on my computer. I've got to tend to it now. And this year for me has been all about balance. It's been about, so my theme word for this year was scale, in terms of my business scaling, but also a scale like a balance, like be able to grow my business and be successful in my career and career development, but also take time to nurture myself and to nurture my personal relationships and my mental health and my mental well-being as well. So that good balance to kind of offset or repel from any type of burnout.
Okay. Do you manage your own social media, or is it managed for you?
I manage my personal social media, my Instagram account at Lyn Allure. That I manage myself, but for my Good Girls Gone Boss business account, I have a social media manager on that account there.
Okay. Which social media do you find most effective for you? Do you use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram you mentioned? Which do you find most effective?
I'm actually only on 2 currently. I'm very active on 2 at the moment because that's just where I've seen the most response currently. But YouTube I use for content creation, and Instagram I use for engagement and responding to my DMs. That's why I manage my own Instagram account, my personal one, because that's where I've made so many personal connections on Instagram, also business connections through there. So I manage my own personal Instagram account because I use it for engagement. I literally like send voice notes to my subscribers sometimes if they're messaging me. I get a lot of heartfelt messages, and when I respond, yeah, it's amazing, and it's humbling. So when I respond, I'm usually met with, "Oh my God, you responded! I never thought you would." Like, oh my goodness. So I love being able to interact with the people who support me and watch my channel and are impacted by any content that I put out. If it could be helpful, I'm like, thank God. And if they take time out of their day to reach out to me and let me know, I'd like to be able to respond. I try my hardest because yeah, the messages, sometimes they do get overwhelming when they come in so much, but I always try to put time aside to respond to that. And so that's why I use my personal Instagram account for engagement. And then on YouTube, I use it for reach. I'm able to, the thing is about YouTube is it's the second largest search engine in the world, followed by Google, and Google owns YouTube. So it's helped me to see a huge reach. And my videos always have unique viewers. So I'm able to reach more people on YouTube. So I use YouTube as content creation, as a way to be seen or visible to new eyeballs, and then as a way for me to interact and go back and forth with the people who support my channel, I use my Instagram accounts.
I mean, it must be quite amazing to think that there are 400,000 people from around the world following you. I mean, how does that make you feel?
It's very interesting, actually. It doesn't feel real most of the time, to be honest. I'm not too caught up with the numbers. It's definitely humbling and a great experience as well. It's something I am proud of, but I feel it's quite surreal. Like it doesn't really make sense much.
I mean, that's nearly 500,000 people, isn't it, really?
Right. And the views, I think it was like 15 million views last time I checked.
That's on the, yes.
Yeah. It's really interesting, actually. But I don't think it's something that I've really grasped, like how many people that is. Yeah. I just make the content, and whoever sees it, and whoever finds it valuable, thank God it reached at least one person and it impacted at least one person. But the numbers, I feel it's just, to be honest, it's a vanity metric. A lot of people chase the numbers, but it's really about the quality of the people that you're attracting in your community, and the quality of the content you're creating as well, and what its purpose is. So that's what I like try to focus on. Sometimes I'll create a video and I'm like, oh my God, I put so much work into this. I hope it takes off. And sometimes it doesn't. And you're like, okay, I guess it doesn't. You got to remember to not take it personal. Like, you do not control these algorithms or the platform or who sees it and who doesn't. You just, just create.
Yeah, and that's what you do. And I want to say thank you for what you do.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
And I know that people will have learned many things from what you said today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. So thank you so much. Look forward
to
hearing more from you. And I will be putting the links under the video so people can link to your on YouTube channel and your Instagram as well. Okay, please come back again another time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This has been incredible. You are absolutely amazing. And this has been great. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You take care of yourself.
Awesome. You too.
Take care. Bye.
Now go.